right, welcome to the Liquidity event. We are here. Oh, come on. That was solid. We're your hosts, Shane Mason.
I'm AJ Ayers. Ooh, we're on a last name basis, not just AJ and Shane.
This is our 9th episode of the Liquidity event. Everyone knows it takes 10 episodes to get to a first name basis.
We went the opposite direction. Typical Brooklyn FI disruptors go in the opposite direction.
We don't give a shit. We move fast and break things around here. This week we'll be discussing a litany of fun stuff. We got some meme stocks in here. Wall Street influencers are making way more money than you. Google's moving into the real estate space in New York City, and they're moving in with billions. We've got some cool ESG bond fund news. I think people that are interested in ESG will find that an interesting story about how the UK is raising billions of dollars to impact the environment in a positive way. We've got some other fun stuff in here. AJ, what are you reading?
What am I reading this week? Well, I am reading. So we run our business on this business book called Traction, and it's this 90-day worldview. You set goals, you measure them, you meet weekly to check in on those goals. It's really great. So the author Gina Wickman just came out with a book, which is like how to run your life fit through the Traction Traction universe. So I just picked that up. A couple episodes ago, you were talking about a book that you were like, "Oh man, this is so easy to read. This is awesome." And then you learned that it was like for like third graders learning how to read. Yeah. I kind of feel like this book is like for third graders learning how to like live their life. It's like super big font and there's like lots of sketches, so felt a little too dumbed down for me, but I like it. I'm always looking for ways to optimize my life. So that's why
in the Brooklyn FI book club we buy one copy and let one of the partners test run it, and then if it's solid, we get
if your book is really good, we'll each buy a copy. For example, Traction is one of those books where we each buy. Not only do we each buy a copy, but we also send copies to every new employee, so they know what's going on in the business. They understand the methodology for how we run our business.
Right. I wonder how many of those pages have been turned. We should do a Traction quiz.
We should do a Traction quiz.
Speaking of books that both partners read, I'm reading The Ensemble Practice by Philip Pavlovlev. Definitely pronounced that correctly, but it's a business book. We're both reading business books.
How boring! Business books are boring.
Yeah, lame. What are you drinking?
Ooh, I am drinking a delicious. So glad you asked, Shane.
Okay.
I'm drinking a delicious Sangiovese from Umbria. Here's for those of you watching on video. It's got this really cool label. Yes, it's a natural wine. Free carbonic juice, crazy experience, soft. It's like a 60s. It looks like Summer of Love poster on the label. But is
carbonic the word of the week that we were trying to squeeze into the?
No, that's a new segment that we have. It's the word of the week, where Shane and I will come up with a secret word, and whoever can slide that word into the conversation first wins a prize.
So you won this week's carbonic.
Was it carbonic? I thought it was acquiesce. All right, we'll start this segment next week. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking. Well, I'm finishing off this gin. I thought I had tonic, but I don't. So I'm chasing it with sour beer. I'm drinking out of my favorite coffee cup.
Your butt mug?
My butt mug. And I am chasing it with my favorite sour beer from Brooklyn Brewery. I realized that one of the best breweries in the country is, in my opinion, is around the corner from my house. I'm going to start featuring their beers on the podcast because I'm a finfluencer.
Amazing. Yeah. Do it up.
We're both in BK. What are you doing for fun these days, AJ?
I'm eating crab.
Is that a jargon phrase? Is that
no,
an idiom?
No, I love steamed crab. I don't know. I love steamed crab so much, and I buy it like snow crab is very expensive, so I buy it frozen. And last night I was like, the fuck do I eat for dinner? And I was like rooting around my freezer, and I found 3 perfectly delicious frozen snow crab legs, and I steamed them, and I had like a 5-star steamed crab dinner by myself with some broccoli, and it was fucking awesome.
I cannot get over this segment that you doing for fun. I'm actually going through the historical eating sushi, riding a tram, self-care.
Hey, you know what? We've gotten
dressing up for weddings.
We've gotten a lot of positive feedback about my food and drink exploits.
What the hell are you doing for fun? All of these are solo experiences.
What do you mean? I like to be by myself. I have a lot of fun with myself. I've self-actualized. I'm a really happy person.
That's what I would say too. I going to trivia night right after this, where I always come in. Our group of idiot boys get like bottom quintile every time we
Nice,
go. So
nice.
yeah,
Yeah, that's where you got to know a lot of useless stuff. I enjoy trivia night, but I never enjoy the people also at trivia night.
I just don't buy whoever's getting first place every time. Like if you go to a Brooklyn bar and there's
Oh
like
yeah.
10 groups, whoever gets first place is getting like 95% of the questions right. I'm like,
Who are
who's got
you?
the earpiece in? Like,
Yeah.
first of all, who are you if you got them correctly or you're cheating? Like,
Yeah.
you don't know the state bird of Colombia. Like what country did Bolivia invade in like 18
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So all Central American trivia apparently recently. All right, let's do our IPO
Oh
watch.
yeah. What you got for me?
What do I have for you?
Oh,
It's what
okay,
the
fine.
markets have for us. It's what the underwriters. Uh, I see.
Don't you know I control the IPO markets? That's why we got so many damn SPACs.
I mean, you did a. I don't know if we can talk about this. Can we talk about your big SPAC presentation?
Nah, not yet. But
Okay.
yeah, love SPACs.
Okay.
Spectacular.
Cool. Cool. So upcoming IPOs, bunch of we have a blockchain, Argo blockchains going. They're trying to raise. Um, let's see. Let me do some quick math. 7.5 million shares at $18. Sounds like 140 million. I don't know. That's definitely wrong.
Nice, nice, nice.
Engage Smart, Live Oak, Crestview Climate. Oh, I thought that was our bank.
Oh yeah.
Damn it.
Oh wow, yeah.
Live
Yeah.
Oak Bank.
Also, can we just admit that we like run out of good names for companies? Like, and there's gonna be companies that are now named. They're like new companies that are named old dead companies. Like, tell
I
me
don't
about
know.
a good company
We
name
keep
you've
we
heard
keep
about in the
getting
past.
good ticker symbols. I mean, there's what 150,000 available ticker symbols, and we got Bros last week.
We got Bros.
We yeah. HLTH Health is coming out upcoming in a few weeks. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know.
Mm-hmm.
There's
We
there's
got Warby
unending
Parker.
possibilities for the creative S1
Yeah.
filers, IPO filers out there.
Yeah, Warby Parker, the glasses company, is going public next week. Excited to see
Mhm.
that. We've got some insight into that business and them going public. Very exciting for their shareholders and for glasses wearers everywhere. Yeah, they went into
They're trying to raise 2 billion.
the contact lens business recently.
They're trying to raise $2 billion. I guess you need big money when you actually
Manufacture shit. Yeah.
manufacture things around the world. You have an international
We just
supply
we just sell air. We
chain.
just sell advice. They actually sell stuff.
Hmm.
I wouldn't
And
even know
boy,
how to
is it hot.
spend I wouldn't even know how to spend $2 billion on our business.
Yeah, you do.
$2 billion on Brooklyn FI.
You're a
I
big
could
spender.
easily spend 50 million, but not 2 billion. So if anyone's trying to give us $2 billion, it's too much.
We're not taking it, just officially on the air. Okay. Anything else you wanna cover
No, let's
here?
get into some headlines here. Got some good ones.
Okay, there are some really fun headlines in here. This is actually one that is a little, yeah, the meme stocks, AMC and GameStop are pushing small cap benchmarks higher. That's a mouth jumble. Also, meme stocks, AMC and GameStop push a small cap benchmarks. That's it. What does
What's
that
it?
even mean? What does that
What
mean?
are you, Daffy Duck? You Daffy
I don't
ducking
know.
me?
It's a new bit. My
You
mouth's
ducking
full.
me, brah?
It's
Don't
the
duck me.
Shane's mouth's full bit.
Suffering succotash.
Oh, please go on. Do the whole explanation in Looney Tunes voice.
Suffering.
What's
The
that character?
S&P 500 is the Russell 2000.
I'm gonna drop from this meeting if you keep going.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think we wanted to talk about this article because it's articles like this in the Wall Street Journal are like the reason why meme stocks exist. The headline is Meme Stocks, AMC, and GameStop push small cap benchmark higher. Now, most people know what meme stocks are. Most people know what AMC is and GameStop, but most people don't know what small cap and benchmark mean, right? And that's
I'm giving you 45 seconds
all right,
to
all right,
work
all right.
to
All right.
work your
Fine,
way
fine,
through
fine.
this.
Look, what this article is saying is like these companies, which were the index was these companies were already priced into the index, and because they saw this like incredible volatility earlier this year, they were doing incredibly well. It's basically messed up the way that these indices are being tracked. So it's like this is what we expected, but now we've exceeded expectations. So we don't fit into this class anymore. So we've graduated, and it's kind of messed up the way people distribute their portfolio. So good for you, AMC and GameStop, for doing so well that you got bumped up to the next level, right?
I had 45 seconds to come up with my own analogy, so don't be mad at me. If there was a word bubble of every stock in the company in available, their word would be a lot bigger than the other words because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because they got blown up via this retail investment via
Oh, I got another one for
Reddit
you.
and what's up?
Summer before 8th grade, right?
Okay.
Yeah, girls and boys are pretty much same height. Summer before 8th grade,
Okay.
all the girls experience this extreme growth spurt and shoot up 6 inches. I shot up 4 inches between June and September of the
Oh,
year
this is a
before
personal
8th grade.
trauma story you're trying to
No, it's not
relay.
trauma.
We're
It's just
not
like,
your therapist, AJ. Just because you
it's not
refuse to see a
trauma.
therapist.
I'm just trying to explain how they shot ahead of the group. Now I'm in a different league. Now I don't want to, slow dance with you, 5'2" short boys. Sorry, I'm 5'7", going into a different class.
Wow, she's tallest too. Interesting. Interesting. All right, next article. That was way more than 45 seconds. I'll take the blame
Rats.
there. In celebrities and billionaires, this is definitely
You
not billionaires. This
you
is
put this
definitely
in here to goad
celebrity.
me.
AJ wants to be an influencer so bad that this article is right up her alley. This is from Bloomberg. Wall Street influencers are making $500,000 a year, topping even bankers. Some bankers, yeah, I mean, we've got banker clients that make way more than this, but yeah, some bankers make less than 500, believe it or not.
Wow, didn't
Some
know that. Learn
some
something new every
analysts,
day.
investment, yeah, if you work at Goldman, you don't automatically make more than
So these people
500,000.
work at the bank of likes, the bank of ego, right? I don't know.
One time we started Traction, and one of the words in Traction is spelled Segue, and I had always thought that Segway was spelled Segway, like the how how it sounds. And AJ, I said, "What is all right? Time to sieg now." She goes, "What? This word is French. It's Segway." So AJ, Finfluencer is a great portmanteau. You don't even know.
I
You're
don't
full
know.
of shit.
No,
You're full of shit.
I'm full of
Anyway,
shit.
it's a great portmanteau. Finfluencer. You want to be one. This article is all about some of the names
I
we
don't want to
follow.
be
Some
one
of these
though.
people. Okay, Tax Bimbo. We talked about Tax Bimbo already.
Mm.
You're working on one of your. Okay. Anyway, so one of our favorite influencers is actually on this list of people that they talk about, Miss Down Jones.
Yeah, love Miss Dow Jones.
Yeah, she's great. She's got good content. Cool article about the things. My takeaway from this article is that these people get sponsored by various platforms, Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch, Y Charts. So like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't want to
these
call them out.
influencers are not fiduciaries, is what I took away from this article, and that they are not acting in their listeners' best interest. They are acting in their own self-interest to get up to that $500,000, payday. Like, hey, who wants to sponsor my next post? Is it,
Right.
this super low cost investment firm, or is it this mutual fund company? Like, I'm gonna recommend whoever's gonna pay me more. Like,
They're for sale.
don't like that at all. I mean, look, I'm of two minds because I love that there are even finfluencers. Like, if you're scrolling through TikTok and you're gonna watch someone talking about how important it is to stash money in your Roth IRA, and you're gonna spend 30 seconds on that rather than like, as much as I love makeup tutorials, like I don't know how that's gonna impact my financial future. Like, go finfluencers. Don't sell out though.
I get it. It's very digestible. Should we finfluence on TikTok? AJ, what's your TikTangle?
My TikTangle? I don't have a TikTangle. What? I don't even know what that is.
That's my dad joke for like your alias on TikTok. I say that to anyone in their 20s.
I didn't get it. I'm not in my 20s.
It's my favorite dad joke. Okay, I've seen some really bad TikTok advice, especially in the tax space.
It's
really
scary,
regrettable.
right? Yeah, a lot of, I mean,
And on Instagram too. There's like famous CPAs that push like heinous, aggressive moves that have hundreds of thousands of followers that really bum me out. Anyway, speaking of bumming people out, this isn't a great segue, but Google is purchasing a building in Manhattan, and the bummer is that New York City might be becoming more like San Francisco.
oh God, no way. Jesus.
AJ's our California rep.
No,
Are
I'm
you
a
going
New
to dunk on
Yorker.
California residents as hard as you dunked on Allbirds wearers this week?
Oh, no, I love California. It's my
That
home.
was
It's
such
my
a
home.
heinous dunk.
I'm a California girl.
Oh God.
No, but I mean,
What zip code did you grow up in?
I no comment.
Does it start with a 9 and end with an
90210,
01210?
baby. This always comes out. It's so not an important part of my personality or upbringing, but it
Oh,
always
okay.
comes out.
Okay. Your dad was an executive producer of TV shows. He grew up in
He was a
90210.
line producer, not an executive producer. That is a
Okay, I
very
fudged it.
big difference.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I would love
Google's
to
gonna
talk about
buy.
anyway.
What?
No, nothing. Just
Everyone loves your bougie background. Your Google's buying this building. It's not even built yet. It's gonna come out in 2023. It's gonna come out. They're gonna drop this release in 2023. It is. I don't have a lot of details. There's just renderings in this Wall Street Journal article. I mean, the gist of this is that despite Google is one of the more aggressive companies when it comes to allowing companies employees to work from home, they're still spending billions on Manhattan real estate space. And the idea is that they're growing so fast, monopoly, that they are still able to, even if they had 80% of their workforce working, or 20% of their workforce working from home, 80% still show up to the office. So they just need more space.
yeah,
And
it's like
they're
they're
plowing
gonna
billions a year.
run out of space no matter what because they're growing. Can't stop, won't stop. Where is this place gonna be actually?
I don't know, Manhattan. I don't know anything
Manhattan's
about
west
Manhattan.
side. Cool.
I think it's like Hudson Yards area. It's like the
Mm,
whole. It's like It's a place. It's not even really New York City. There's no rats. It's the no rats part of Manhattan.
not a good part of Manhattan. Love rats.
It's the ratless Manhattan part of
By the way,
Manhattan.
have you read that book Rats about rats in New York City?
No, is that the one on the cover where it's got the rat in the Rat King or the rat? What do they call that? Where they all get their tails wrapped together? A rat lord?
No, it's the cover is actually like a map of New York City with a rat
Oh,
transposed over it. It's great. Highly recommend. Rats. Who wrote that book? Rats: Observations on the History and Habitat of the City's Most Unwanted Inhabitants by Robert Sullivan. Highly recommend that book.
yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. A rat king. Sorry, I was googling this. Is a collection of rats whose tails are intertwined and bound together by one of several possible mechanisms, such as sticky substances like sap or gum, or getting tied together. Just getting them wrapped up is it's like it's like a clock where the center is all rat tails and they all live together. Sounds
Cool
like the
story,
boys in
bro.
college. Yeah. People got you're talking about rats, bro.
All right, moving on.
What else you got?
Taxes are going up. I feel like we talk about this every week.
It was specifically for New Yorkers.
Yeah. New York's highest existing marginal personal income rate for 2021 goes from 8.2% to 9.65%. Yikes. And that's before we add city taxes, right? So what, we could be paying more than 15% if you're a high earner living in New York City?
Yeah, yeah. Tax rates. I mean, New York is not afraid to raise taxes on high income earners, unlike
Hot
some
take.
other jurisdictions.
It's worth it. Why would you live anywhere else?
That's a hot take. That's an unpopular opinion. Why would you? Yeah. Okay.
I'm
Surprise,
happy.
Brooklyn
I am
Five,
happy to
pro New
pay
York.
15% for the privilege of living in this city.
Bro, to pay 15% in taxes, you have to make more than 25 million a year. So, yeah, sure. Shut up and take my money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully some of our listeners are worried about that, but yeah, essentially New York is most other states during COVID actually dropped tax rates. Um, the Tax Foundation has a great uh, map of all the trending tax rates across the United States. People forget that there are 51 other tax jurisdictions to worry about, not just the federal one. New York's taxes are going up, most other places are going down. Speaking of other jurisdictions, the UK debuted. That's how we're saying that word. This is silent T and an extra W. Has released a green bond. Green bond. Does that sound like green gum? Green glue? No, it's a financial instrument.
Yeah, it sounds like gold bond.
Gold. There we go.
That's
Yeah,
what you're
not
thinking.
unlike they didn't do gold bonds. They did green bonds.
Gold bonds would confuse a lot of people. Like the world is not smart enough for you to call something a gold bond.
Gold bond, not to be confused with gold bond. These green bonds make you wet. So these bonds are essentially what are they? Well, let's explain them.
What's
They're
a bond?
a bond. Yeah, okay.
Let's back up a
We
sec.
we do have time for this. A bond is a fairly simple instrument actually, wherein it's a loan. You make a loan to a corporation. Let's say the bond has a face value of $10,000. You give that corporation 10,000. A part of the bond instrument or the bond details are that they have a usually set interest rate that they pay you back over a different amount of time. It could be 1, 3, 5, 10, 30 years. And they'll pay you interest payments on that. They're typically fixed, say 2, 5, 6%. And generally, the riskier the investment is, the higher they need to pay in interest rates in order to incentivize people to purchase them. Like if you were lending money to your goody two shoes sister that you have access to all the time, you talk to all the time, and has always been straight A's and pays back all of her loans, and she's known for that. She can argue for a 2% interest rate, whereas your drunk uncle that pays back 70% of his loans and has been known to disappear for months, you might have to get 10% off of Uncle Dave in order to lend him that money, right? So that's essentially, and then they, by the way, they also pay back the principal at the end of the bond. So these green bonds are specifically, the money has to be used for green incentive or like green projects. So
Hmm.
I imagine a lot of these are going to go, like the UK is super into windmills in the North Sea. I would love to see an additional, especially because my friend works on them, an extra 100 gigantic windmills up in the North Sea, um, and various other cool green projects. And I thought it would be cool to feature this because a lot of our clients are interested in ESG, and prospective clients, and how they can contribute to them. But ESG is a pretty esoteric thing. Like, yeah, I want
Right.
to invest in index funds that only invest in, it's all in the eye of the beholder. Like I want to buy I want to buy an ESG mutual fund or ETF or what have you, but ESG is all qualitative like that. Like what does a green, like what is a, if you invest in a green mutual fund and invests in, not in ExxonMobil directly, but it invests in a company that is ancillary to ExxonMobil. Maybe they supply the steel, like the green steel to Exxon. Like you're still funding Exxon.
Right.
They're buying green steel. Like, what do you do with that? Well, this is like really more specific. I feel like I am buying a bond that invests in windmills, right? So you get to know. I think simplicity is the future,
Yeah.
and people want simplicity, and this is an example of it in the ESG space.
But isn't the whole concept of this investing in ESG, investing in environmentally, conscious companies, is that we are admitting that there's global warming. We're admitting that we have a climate crisis, and the companies that are, it is
Well,
smart to.
99% of scientists. That's not 100%.
Okay.
I'm just stating facts here.
Okay. Well, anyways, that really caught me off guard there. No, look, we're the whole purpose of ESG investing is that we think that companies that recognize that the world is changing and resources are going to run out, like they're making these changes so that they can survive over the next 30, 40 years. So it's actually, as an investor, you actually have the potential at a greater profit, a greater upside if you direct your investments towards these companies that are looking towards the future. Whereas if you're an oil company, you're a gas company right now, you're just using what's available right now. You're going to run out. So it's a futurist's view of, saying like, hey, this company, maybe they're not having like great returns this year, but they're so forward looking that my returns as an investor are actually going to be higher than if I were to invest in, an oil company or a cigarette company who's not doing good things for the environment.
Right on. Yeah.
Are you a
Yeah.
climate change denier? I'm very confused.
I'm just trying to keep our listeners on their toes. You never know. I'm a white dude. I can have weird
Oh my
opinions.
god.
My favorite example of like deniers is the Flat Earth Society on Facebook that
Mm,
says that they've got members all over the globe.
yeah.
Okay, that's all our articles for the week. Let's see. We have our no-brainers.
We've got a listener mail question.
You do?
I
Okay.
do. Yeah.
What do you got?
I've got, how has Brooklyn FI managed being fully remote? What has been challenging? What has been surprising? Any funny stories?
Any funny stories? Well,
How have we managed? I mean, it was fucking terrible and terrifying in the beginning. The
yeah.
mayor of New York City said everyone go home and stay inside. And it was March 6th. I'll never forget that day. It was March 16th of 2020, our most important tax deadline of the whole year. And we sent our employees home with their laptops and their monitors, and we said, we'll figure it out. And, luckily cybersecurity has always been such a focus for us. So luckily we were able to pivot really quickly, right? We just we're like, all right, let's go home. We had to beef up security on home Wi-Fi networks, mail out 40 or 60 foot, Ethernet cables, but we did it. And, it's actually been fantastic for our business because our clients, clients are moving all over the place. They're moving out of New York City. They don't want to come to our office in Williamsburg. They're moving to Indiana and Chicago. So we're able to, hire new advisors and new tax folks all over the country. So remote work has been great for us, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I think growing up going to LAN parties was helpful. Figuring out how to work, just being interested in cybersecurity and using YubiKey. We were already doing a lot of really solid. I mean, it was very uncertain time, and it's not like it was all obvious that we were able to pivot to remote very easily. I think that we were better equipped than a lot of other firms. Then again, we're a lot smaller than other firms, so the smaller problems and a tighter culture, very helpful. I think it's also been helpful for us as if you are a generalist firm that goes remote, one of your advantages is the geography that you work in. If we serve any type of client in the New York City area, suddenly everyone's remote. Well, they can work with anyone in New York City can work with a firm in California, Illinois, Alaska, whatever, wherever the best in the industry is. We think we're the best executor or best financial planning firm for equity compensation recipients in the country, full stop. So it's been great for us because we've been able to work with advisors that are great all over the country. Humility, not our strong suit. And then also, if you live in Texas, if you live in, obviously Seattle, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Austin, Boston, Miami, Atlanta, any of the Illinois or Chicago, any of these places that have either nascent hotbeds for equity compensation recipients or software firms, or the old school ones, San Francisco, New York, Boston, et cetera. It's been a blessing in that regard that we don't have to be in the same room to serve those awesome clients.
Right. It went from we got to open an office in Austin and we need to find a specific financial planner in Austin and San Francisco and LA. It became let's find the best person for Brooklyn FI. I don't care where you live, right? And that was, I mean, we have incredible staff members who are live in places that we would have never looked to hire. Any funny stories? I don't really have.
I mean, I could talk about this. We have a lot of funny stories, I think. Maybe we'll save those for next week. No-brainers of the week, AJ?
Yeah, mine is over-tip your service workers when they do a great job. If you're in a position of means and, money is not tight for you, chances are the person serving you coffees probably could really use an extra 30%, 40% tip. So that's kind of been my MO during COVID, is just way over tip when someone's doing a great job if you can afford it. You really make someone's day when you drastically reward them for just doing a good job.
I hear that. 8 years in the service, 8 years living on tips.
Right,
exactly. Thank you for that tip of the week.
Said as a former barback.
My no-brainer is this. AJ is going to hate this one, but at some point, a year ago, my girlfriend told me that she appreciates words of affirmation, and I am mature enough to Google. AJ thinks this is immature, but I Googled words of affirmation and I found a list. I struggle with this. I bet a lot of our male audience listeners struggle with this as well, is just saying how you feel about somebody and just being, we're taught not to express our feelings. And sometimes you need some cues and some help, and words of affirmation, literally a list of 100 phrases.
All right.
That
I've had a hard, busy week. I need some affirmation. I'm ready to soak it up. Hit me with a few. You
inspire me every day, AJ. Every day that I show up to the office, I'm excited to see you, and you make me a better person.
Wow, thanks, Shane. Even though it's not genuine, it's still appreciated.
That is our show for the week. I appreciate everyone showing up and listening to us. You can email us at liquidityevent@brooklynfi.com. Leave us a voicemail. We'll play it on the air. podinbox.com/liquidityevent. Show notes at brooklynfi.com/episode 9. BKFI stands can leave us a review if they want to be weird about it. AJ, anything else for our listeners?
Nah, thanks for watching, guys. We're blown away. You guys rock. Thanks for sending us notes. I love doing this. Love hearing myself talk. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.